Power Rangers Time Force 15 years later, episode 21, Love Struck Rangers review. Jen is shipped with her lover's great times 20 grandfather this episode. It's accessible whether I like it to be or not. Jen falling in love with Wes felt a little rushed, not always used in every episode. Also, Wes is so underdeveloped that I sort of don't care who he likes. Then again, the media is visual, they look alike, so she's attracted to him in a sort of narcissistic way or something. Snake bracelet, very effective. Worth Keeter directed, hence the MPR. Jeez. If you like the comedy of the episode, kudos to you. Power Rangers Time Force 15 years later, episode 23, Full Exposure. Katie's an underrated character, and her actress is underrated. There's a bit of over-drama about Katie not wanting to have her identity exposed. On the other hand, I just as an adult like how I didn't like her character's accessibility to audiences several years later, such as me. Several years later. There's no cheese behind the character, and her actress keeps the character consistent throughout. Is it a better character than Damon from Time Force? Time Yellow? Time Ranger? Probably not, but the amount of praise or luck due to the restraint the character is used is well done. The whole Daily Planet storyline of not wanting a superhero's identities exposed is interesting. I would have liked an obvious reason, especially in a time show of time inconsistencies, and possibly even have the photographer sent to Time Force jail as a result of violating rules. They do have the production set after all. The drama of Katie not wanting to do that seems very interesting. The guest of the week is very good. They have a lot of not wanting to do it, yet he does it, albeit the music is a big factor in that drama. The moment when they lose their powers building up to the fact that they showed their identity was done really well. The actors from the newspaper are really good. Sort of reminds me of Caitlin Starr of VR Troopers. They were very consistent paper, and I wish they were part of the show more often. I wish there was more paper than Nick of Time, actually. Also, where's Eric been the last few episodes? There's not a lot of depth into Steelix coming a deal with Rancic, but it works. Power Rangers Time Force 15 years later, episode 26, Time Force Trader. We can assume that the money is a dangerous power, and that it's been reinforced for the show, as with Nadira's affinity for it and Collins Sr.'s deals with weapons, security, paramilitaries, and bioweapons research. The use of a toy box for Steelix to show his hologram is interesting. It's toy-like but has an adult-like dark Hellraiser design. The use of the term mutants was sort of racist by Jen, especially after Trip already saved one, but was probably due to the Screen Actors Guild inability to retake the scene. There's also a lot of Jen somewhat nudity for placing her Power Ranger toy gun in her skirt in what probably showed her boxers or something. Side note, since Pokemon Sun and Moon were big now, her partner's name was Steelix, oddly enough, 15 years later. I also sort of think it's impossible in 2001, but I think it would be interesting if Jen's former partner was Power Rangers Pinkfire in the Time Force Trader episode. Also, as much as people complain about US's Steelix suit was just awful all around, even sludge-worthy, I also have complaints about a lot of Japanese suits post Guy Ranger, actually. Power Rangers Time Force 15 years later. Episode 27 to 30. I'm trying to figure out how do I want to set this up. Overall, the episodes are still strong, albeit there's still adaptation gay as to why robots would still work for Rancic, no self-fate by Frax, and Rancic being able to program. One of the laughs from the villains is horribly forced. When Venomoth bites the Rangers, some fight frames are missing. I wonder if they can weaponize Venomoth's fangs. Episode 28 does more with the Collins-West relationship. However, they really don't sort of establish why Collins likes money other than we just assume him not watching the show, like power, etc., rich guy tropes. Anyway, Collins reveals he cares for his son and attempts to kill Ransik, stating he'd never give him the antidote if he knew. I guess it was cool that they didn't rely on the flashback trope and that Collins pulls a really dark tone. Eric is given some time as second in command of biotech. Episode 29 has a lot of blunders. Alex plays bad guy by saying they should wear Time Force suits. Why? Who cares? Black guy trope, whatever. They couldn't go like he looks like Alex, but maybe necessarily isn't, like they do in episode 1 of Time Ranger. This is your base of operations? I guess it is. Just a civilian, put on your uniforms. It's a shame because Jason Font plays a new version of Alex better than he does Wes. Looks like you've been working really hard. Well, these quotes are so cringeworthy and hilarious. Wes, meanwhile, has to care for his dad who defended him in the previous episode and has to worry about his family legacy. Interesting because of, again, he plays Alex better than Wes, yet this is the opposite. It has to do with Wes's legacy as well. I also think that originally Eric was supposed to establish that he wanted the Collins Biotech Company power instead of rich guys, but sort of got lost in editing, it seemed. Also seemed to want to put a wedge between Wes and Eric, but that wasn't done thoroughly either. Wes is given the power of biotech. Alex could have made it so that he wanted to keep his timeline so that he'd exist. Minor notes of episode 29 to 30 to get them out of the way since they're related. Destiny defeated Eric and Birds again. I think this is probably influenced by the intro of Time Ranger with Birds, Best Scanner. So they'd have a storyline about Wes and his dad. Then they have a storyline about Wes and rejoining the team. Sort of inconsistent. Like, just stick with one, please. Why are they stronger with Wes? Writing the Q-Rex. Eric helps Wes see his dad. Not in bed trope. Alex Harder new trope. What have Jason Font play two characters opposed to someone who looks like his son? Luckily, he does a good job playing the son. In this episode, at least. Brief review of episode 31, 32, maybe 33 of Power Rangers Time Force 15 years later. Power Rangers Time Force episode 31, Undercover Rangers. A bit of a dumb Mighty Morphin Power Ranger-ish episode. Wes and Jenna shipped an episode where they get wacky in a get-rich-quick scheme to gain weight from... This is what people consider on Wikipedia the darkest series of Power Rangers somehow. Very good. Let's not talk about that anymore. Power Rangers Time Force 15 years later, episode 32, Beware the Night Review. The Knight chops off Trip's hat while the horse steps on his pizza. What a waste of a pizza. What a waste of a hat. What a waste of everything. I don't know why they did that. Frankie Chang. I think they showed some production design. Frankie Chang. He never shows up in another show, which is unfortunate. He said you'd protect me. Why did they start with Trip when it's a West episode, and obviously should have been a West episode? Complexity always helps Vo. Also makes the battle edge come out of nowhere, which sort of doesn't work either. The dragon looks very nice that defends the MacGuffin of the episode. Not MacGuffin, but the thing that saves the day. Deus Ex Machina. The payoff that he has a crystal like Wes's dad gets tied together quite well. No Eric. A real big lack of Eric in the show recently. Really bad. Power Rangers Time Force episode 34, Reflections of Evil review. 15 years later. There's a mirror monster who summons multiple enemies for the Power Rangers to defeat in the episode. Will the Rangers succeed? This is the last episode, so they do. Mirror enemies. Cool to have a bunch of enemies for the Rangers to fight all in a row. Changes up the pace of the episode. Missing opportunity to fight enemy Psycho Rangers this episode. The use of music really camps up what could have been some sort of pimp monster in Time Ranger in this adaptation of the episode. Power Rangers Time Force 35, Episode 35, 15 years later. Nadira's Dream Date. Nadira's Dream Date is about mistaken identity. Nadira reads a note from Lucas. Apparently, it's actually meant. It's a love note, but it's apparently meant for his first race car. LMAO. The race car reference fits the character very well. Race character very well. This episode obviously wasn't going to win any Emmys or Oscars or whatever, but it's very enjoyable, which I enjoy. Because it's enjoyable. Rancic playing father figure to Lucas works out quite well. I'm not sure if it fits the show, especially with the finale. But then again, I find Rancic's villainy and use in the series very tame anyway, so why not have some fun? They probably spent so much money on that scene where Gluto has in the end, but it's hilarious and well done and well worth it. Good payoff. Corny MMPR shipping like episode. MMPR like shipping episode. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers shipping episode. It's definitely going to hurt the legacy of the series, but I could care less about the legacy of the series or the show or the franchise. Give me something that entertains me. Give me something that's enjoyable, something that's blockbustery, something that has a gimmick to it. Don't pretend something you're not. Just like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Saban's Power Rangers second trailer that came out recently. Be you. You do you. And we will enjoy. Thank you, Power Rangers.